This is News Talk.
Ireland are in the World Cup final. Yes, you heard it right. The Irish women's hockey team have qualified for the World Cup final. They have beaten Spain on penalties 3-2 after the game itself finished 1-1. Gillian Pinder was the hero in the end for this Irish team, scoring the winning penalty in sudden death. David Fitzgerald, who was part of the Irish men's squad that went to Rio back in 2016, has been watching it alongside us in the studio, and
that's phenomenal.
What a day.
Absolutely phenomenal. I think if you had to put a blueprint before the game started, how are Ireland going to win the game, it's built on the same reasons they've got to this now final. Hard-nosed defence, don't give end away, tight. And the one thing you say about them the whole tournament, there's no gifts. There's no times they're putting in bad passes where it gives the opposition real opportunities. Corners they've been very good on. Not quite the ratio today, but they did score their corner chance. They're not giving away many chances.
An incredible level of concentration needed under these circumstances, the heat, the pressure of a World Cup semi-final, to put in a almost flawless performance, in that there was no moments where you thought, oh, bad mistake.
Yeah.
That just didn't happen. It was just two very evenly matched teams.
Yeah, and we used to talk about under Graham, gifts. Don't give away gifts. Don't give away glaring opportunities. What Ireland have been really good at, there's been great movement from the midfield and forward, so a lot of the time we're picking up the ball very high up in the pitch. Because Irish teams traditionally wouldn't go one-on-one with skills at oppositions, be more intricate kind of passing, but because we're picking up the ball so high up the pitch, you have the likes of Deirdre Duke, Nikki Evans, Anne O'Flanagan really running at defenders. They're very quick, athletic girls. They're putting people under pressure. And
the penalties, the calmness to somehow hold their nerve under such pressure. We mentioned the keeper again, Aisha McFerrin, who made the save in sudden death. You were just saying it was technically a brilliant save.
Yeah, because one of the hardest things as a goalkeeper is when an outfield player lifts the ball. So what Aisha did, she actually used her stick pretty much like an outfield player would do. She tried to bring her around, the forward tried to bring the ball around her in the air. She plucked the ball out of the air with her stick, which is it's a pretty good skill to have. Because if she gets that wrong, she probably hits the attacker a bit of a club, and that's probably a stroke or penalty.
And then the decision to go with Gillian Pinder for the first penalty of sudden death, because they could have gone with anybody, and we'd seen Chloe Watkins, who had been pretty flawless, and would sort of assume maybe it would be her who'd go again. But going with Gillian Pinder, who took the first penalty as well, obviously, again, well thought out, that in that moment, having somebody who could just stay ice cool.
Yeah, I think probably Gillian, what she managed to do really well was just stay in the moment. You know, in reality, it's so easy to say, it is just a penalty. You knew the consequences of it after, but Gillian looked very calm. She didn't look rushed. She took her time. She used probably the guts of the 8 seconds and managed to slot it in.
We will try over the coming days and weeks to put this into context. As far as I know, it's the first time ever an Irish team has reached the World Cup final. That's what we're talking about. And they've had their moments in recent years, and they've had an awful lot of bad luck and heartbreaking moments in getting to Olympics. But they came to this. Remember, this is a part-time team. They've got 4 professionals in there who are applying their trade, but most of these players are out working jobs. They've had very little funding. They've really struggled to get money together. They've had a sponsor come board over the last few months. This has not been an easy ride to get here.
Yeah, and I think, so you're saying about the jobs as well. It's not even like the girls could... They've very good employers who do give them leave, but that's unpaid leave as well. So a lot of the girls have made massive sacrifices in their careers because there's no money coming in from, to pay them. They pretty much have to take unpaid leave. The World Cup's something they wanted to do, so it's not just a lack of funding. They take massive sacrifice themselves financially to be here.
So tomorrow at 4:30, Ireland are going to play in the World Cup final against either Netherlands or Australia. They are the 2 teams who contested the last World Cup final. The Netherlands have won this competition 7 times. They've been beaten in the final 4 times. Only once ever have they failed to reach the final. And I don't want to get worried. I want to enjoy this moment. Yeah. But the results for the Netherlands so far: 7-0 win over South Korea, 7-1 win over China, 12-1 win over Italy. And then they beat England, who were the number 2 seeds, mostly made up of the Olympic champions, beat them 2-0 in the quarterfinals. They'll be overwhelming favourites, I imagine, even if it is Australia for this second semi-final.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at it, even before the tournament kicked off, the Dutch would be overwhelming favourites. They're a bit of a wrecking ball attacking. They, as you said, they scored 26 goals in 3 games in the group stages, and the key thing is if you can stop them, if you can frustrate them. It's like any world-class team. If you can frustrate them, if you can keep them out, if we can continue to do what we've done all tournament, you never know.
26 goals, but they haven't faced this Irish defence.
That's exactly it. And that's something we've been really good at. So like the US, I think we're ranked 5 or 6 in the world. So they're seen as a top nation. We frustrated them. We end up beating them 3-1.
They beat England 2-0 as well in the quarterfinals. So that was a tight game, and there was very little between Ireland and England when they met in that final match, where Ireland didn't really have anything at stake. They were already through to the quarterfinals at that stage. So actually, while the Netherlands are an unbelievably talented team, full of professionals, full of players, full-time dedicated to their sport, and have won everything there is to win already, actually having a very solid defensive setup is perfect for this, because if Ireland had been playing a pretty free-flowing attacking style of game, you'd probably be looking to change it for the Dutch, where actually it's just saying same again. I think
if you play a free-flowing style of hockey against the Dutch, there's holes are going to open up in your game and they're going to tear you apart. And it's kind of what you said about that English-Irish game. The English really had a lot of that game. I think the English had 15 corners against us in that game. We're not conceding corners, they're not scoring corners, we're not conceding many goals. So if there's a blueprint on how you'd beat the Dutch, we seem to have it.
A lot of people enjoying it today. Yippee, like many others, I'm really enjoying my ride on the hockey bandwagon. All aboard now for the World Cup final, says Tom. Lads, is this the first Irish sports team to make it to a World Cup final? Unbelievable result, says Mick in Dublin. I think we think it is the first Irish senior sports team to make it to a World Cup final. So that's the level of achievement we're facing out here. Mihal Ukamon on Twitter says, I'm not crying, you're crying. So obviously people getting pretty emotional out there today, watching and listening to this Irish women's hockey team reach the World Cup final. David, you've been brilliant to come in for the afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You enjoyed the experience? You enjoyed watching this?
Absolutely phenomenal to see an Irish team get to a World Cup final, and to know how much work the girls have put in to get here. It's an amazing achievement.
You going to go party tonight now?
We'll have to see where the night goes.
Good man, great stuff. David Fitzgerald, and hopefully we'll talk to you again over the coming weeks as the men's team now. No pressure heading to the World Cup at the end of the year.
We have to catch this lot now, and maybe better. But if they win tomorrow, you can't better them.